My dear friends, welcome to Rajashekhar classes on applied data science with Python. This is lecture number 202. In this lecture, we will try to understand Chebyshev's inequality. Here is a very interesting concept called Chebyshev's inequality. But before understanding Chebyshev's inequality, let's understand the problem that we are trying to solve. So, we have seen that if you have Gaussian distribution, if you know that Gaussian distribution means what? Normal distribution. If you know that your data or random variable capital X follows Gaussian distribution. Let me assume I have a random variable which is following Gaussian distribution, or there is another name for this particular distribution is I can say normal distribution. Normal distribution, we have spent lot of time on this particular distribution in previous classes, as it is father of all the distributions. Let me assume I have a random variable x which follows Gaussian distribution or normal distribution. We have already seen empirical rule. If your data follows which distribution? Which distribution? Normal distribution or Gaussian distribution. We explained about empirical rule. Just I kindly request you to refer lecture number 104, in which I discussed about this particular empirical rule. What is that rule? 68. Just try to recall, otherwise just refer that lecture once. 68, 95, 99.7 rule. That rule is empirical rule. What is the meaning of this rule? For example, let x is random variable which represents heights of the students in a college. I know that heights are, let me assume these heights are following Gaussian distribution, or these heights are following normal distribution. Let me say your x is, can I write like this, n of mu comma sigma. What is this x? This x is random variable, n is normal distribution. What is your mu? Mu means mean. What is your sigma? Sigma means standard deviation. I know three things. First thing is, what is my first thing? This is first thing. It is following normal distribution. Normal distribution or Gaussian distribution. This is first one, isn't it? I know that this particular data related to heights is following normal distribution. Even I know what is this mean. I know the mean. Mean is mu, and I know the standard. What is my sigma? Sigma is standard deviation. I know three things. First one is it is following normal distribution. Second one is mean. Third one is standard deviation. I can say, just recall that lecture number 104, in which I discussed about empirical rule. What is my probability? P of x minus 2 sigma is, no, I must say something like this. Just let me say like this. Yes. How can I say? Yes, just a minute. X mu minus 2 sigma is less than or equal to capital X less than or equal to mu plus 2 sigma. Isn't it? Just recall that lecture, which is equal to 95%. Isn't it? What does it mean? Probability. Yes, P means what? Probability. Whose probability? Probability of capital X, that is random variable, lying between mu minus 2 sigma and mu plus 2 sigma is 95%, which means let's take height. Let me assume height is 150. Mean of the height, let me say my mean of the height is 150 centimeters. Let me assume like this. And standard deviation, by standard deviation, let me assume 10 centimeters. Yes, this is 10 centimeters. Then I know from the statement, what is this statement? What is according to this rule, 68, 95, 99.7 rule? Because I know it is Gaussian distribution. That's what we are assuming. Your heights data is following normal distribution or Gaussian distribution. As it follows normal distribution or Gaussian distribution, I can apply this particular rule, empirical rule, because I know it is Gaussian distribution. Because I know mu and sigma, I can say that 95% of the student heights lie in the interval of 95% of the students' heights lie in the interval of mu minus 2 sigma comma mu plus 2 sigma. We know what is mu, what is sigma. What is your mu minus 2 sigma? Let me say my mu minus 2 sigma is, my mu is 150 minus 2 into sigma is 10, that is, I can say that is 130, isn't it? What is my mu plus 2 sigma? Mu plus 2 sigma is 150 plus, what is this, 2 into sigma means 2 into 10, that is essentially it is 170, isn't it? What does it mean? It is in the range of 130 and another number is 170. What does it mean? Just because I know it is Gaussian distribution, Gaussian distribution has a policy that 68% of data lies in first standard deviation and 95% of data lies in 2 standard deviation, 99% of the data. This you must understand here, Jesse. This is related to 1 standard deviation from the mean. This is related to 2 standard deviation. This is related to 3 standard deviation. What does it mean? Actually, let me I know that this is simple rule that we have seen earlier. 99.7% of the data lies between 3 sigma and 95% of the data lies between 2 sigma and 68% of the data lies in between 1 sigma from the mean. This I already discussed in lecture number 104, isn't it? Now we will come a big question is what? Let me write that question. Let me write here, otherwise what? My question is, earlier we know that it is following Gaussian distribution or normal distribution. Your question is what if I don't know, if I don't know the distribution. That is my problem. In the case of empirical rule, or in the case of that's another name for empirical rule is, what is that, 68, 95, 99.7% rule. In that case, we know that data is following Gaussian distribution. What if I don't know the distribution? Let's assume I know mean. What I know? I know mean mu, but I don't know the distribution, but I know mean mu, and mu, this is finite. Mu is finite. Let me assume like this, mu is finite, and standard deviation SD, sigma is finite. Sigma is not equal to 0 and finite. I know this information. Let me repeat. I don't know the distribution, whether it is normal distribution, whether it is binomial distribution, whether it is beta distribution, whether it is gamma distribution, whether it is log normal distribution. I don't know the distribution, but I know the mean. I know that mean is finite and standard deviation is finite and not equal to 0. If you recall, finite mean and finite variance, which we discussed in central limit theorem. I discussed about this in central limit theorem. I already discussed about central limit theorem in previous classes. So what if I don't know the distribution? I don't know whether it is Gaussian, normal, gamma. I don't know what it is, but I know mean mu and standard deviation. I know that mean is finite and standard deviation is non-zero. Now, can I say something? X% X percent of data, this is my question, X percent of data lies within mu minus 2 sigma and mu plus 2 sigma. This is my question. If you know that data follows Gaussian distribution, I can say that is 95% of the data lies within mu minus 2 sigma and mu plus 2 sigma. Can I say y percent of data? Can I say y percent of data lies within mu minus 1 sigma and mu plus 1 sigma? This is, if it is your if your data follows Gaussian distribution, I can say how much of data in one standard deviation means what is that rule? 68% of the data lies in between mu minus 1 sigma. But here I don't know the distribution. Can I find what is this x and y percentage? Yes, that's my question. Here, remember, in the case of Gaussian distribution, we know that distribution already. We know the mean height and standard deviation. We know these three parameters. What we know in the case of, if it is x, if I say n mu comma sigma, isn't it? If you know it is normal distributed variable, and you know mu and sigma means, you can already say, you can apply empirical rule. But here I don't know the distribution, but I know only mean and standard deviation. If you know that, you can apply if it is normal distributed. If otherwise, if you know if it is normally distributed, or Gaussian distributed, if it is normally distributed, you know which rule? Empirical rule. What is that empirical rule? 68, 95, 99.7. Means this is 1 sigma, mu minus 1 sigma and mu plus 1 sigma. That's the range, isn't it? What about this? Mu minus 2 sigma, mu plus 2 sigma. What about this? This is mu minus 3 sigma and mu plus, means the 68% of the data is in between mu minus 1 sigma and mu plus 1 sigma. 95% of the data is in between mu minus 2 sigma and mu plus 2 sigma. 99.7 data lies in between mu minus 3 sigma, mu plus 3 sigma. But here basic difficulty is but if I don't know the distribution, but I know only thing, I know basically mean of the distribution and standard deviation. I know that mean is finite and standard deviation is non-zero and finite. Can I find what percentage of points x percentage? Now this is my question. Can I find what is x percentage, what is x and what is y? Means that you have to find what's the data in between mu minus 2 sigma and mu plus 2 sigma and mu minus 1 sigma and mu plus 1 sigma. If you don't know the distribution, now you might wonder what is the use of all these. Let me give an example so that you can connect with how this is useful in the real world for data analysis. So imagine you have salaries of individuals. Let me say you have salaries of, let me write here, yes, let x represents salaries of individuals, isn't? Let me say x is representing salaries of individuals. Let me give an example so that you can connect with how this is useful in real world for data analysis. So imagine you have salaries of individuals in country, but you don't know the distribution. But problem is you don't know the individuals of a country. Let me say like this, of a country, you don't know the distribution. Your problem is you don't know the distribution. This is my difficulty. You don't know the distribution, isn't it? You don't know the distribution. Salaries of individuals, yes, but you do know the mean but here we know that what we know? We know that mean mu, finite mean and sigma finite standard deviation not equal 0. Let's say x is a random variable that represents salaries of individuals in a country. I know that I don't know the distribution, but let's assume I know my mean mu and standard deviation sigma. I can compute the mean using central limit theorem or using some other methods like bootstrapping. If I know the mean and standard deviation, can I say what percentage here? My question is this. Given that I don't know the distribution and I know only mu and sigma. Let's assume mean mu equal to $40,000. Let me say it's a $40,000 and standard deviation. Let me say standard deviation is $10,000. Yes, let me assume. Let's assume I already know that the question I am asking here is what percentage of individuals have salaries in the range of mu minus 2 sigma and mu plus 2 sigma. That's my question. What percentage of the data? What is this mu minus 2 sigma? Just substitute. What is your mu? Mu equal to 40 and sigma equal to 10. Therefore, what will I get? 40 minus 2 into sigma 20. This one, and 40 plus 20. This is my interval. I can say 40 minus 20 means 20 and 40 plus 20 means 60k. For 20k and 60k, isn't it? That's what it says. Now, very valid question. Lot of economists would want to answer this question as a part of data science. Similarly, another question is what percent of individuals has salary in the range of what is that, $20,000 and $60,000. This is basically, what is this? This is 2 sigma range. This range is known as 2 sigma range, isn't it? How many people salary within 3 sigma range? How many people salary? How many individual salary? How much percentage individuals salaries in 3 sigma range? What is my 3 sigma range? What does it mean? 3 sigma range means mu minus 3 sigma, comma, mu plus 3 sigma. We know what is mu. We know what is sigma. What does it mean? What will you get? Mu minus 3 sigma means 40 is my mu, minus 3 into sigma means 10. 40 plus 3 into 10. What will you get? 40 minus 30. That's, I can say 40 minus 30 means I can say it's $10,000 and $10,000, 40 plus 30 in the range of $10,000 to $70,000. This is, let me say, this is my question number 1. Let me say this is my question number 2. Question number 1 is related to 2 sigma range. Question number 3 is related to 3 sigma range. Problem here is I don't know answer to this question. This is very valid problem in data science. I don't know the distribution. If you know the distribution, simply I can apply our what is that rule? Empirical rule, or there is a what is that rule name is 90, 68, 95, 99.7 rules. All I have basically mean and standard deviation. I don't know anything about the distribution. Here, if this was Gaussian distribution, life could have been very simple. If my salaries are Gaussian distributed, I can say that 90. If it is Gaussian distributed, I can say that 95% of income lies within 2 sigma range, and 99.7 percentage of income lies in 3 sigma range, and what is that, 68 percentage of data is in 1 sigma, right? This I already discussed, but I don't know the distribution. Now what do I do? Here comes your Chebyshev's inequality. This Chebyshev inequality plays a role. Here comes your Chebyshev inequality. Very interesting idea, Chebyshev's inequality. Let me state what is my Chebyshev's inequality. Let me state like this. Let me raise all these things. Yes, Chebyshev's inequality. What is that Chebyshev's inequality? Let capital X is be a random variable. Let me say like this. This is my random variable. I don't know the distribution. That's important. With finite mu. With finite mu. Mu means what? With finite mean. Can I say like this? Yes, with finite mean mu and non-zero standard deviation. Non-zero standard deviation. Let me say it is sigma. Yes, non-zero standard deviation sigma. Then what is my probability? My probability P of mod of x minus mu is greater than or equal to k sigma is less than or equal to 1 by k square. This is the statement of our today's hero, that is Chebyshev's inequality. What is this k sigma? K sigma means what? Basically the meaning of k sigma is k standard deviations. K sigma means k, let me write, k standard deviations. K standard deviations. Yes, k standard deviations away. K standard deviations away from the mean. Can I say like this? From mean, away from mean. Isn't it? Yes. Here k is a constant. I want to standard deviation, 2 standard deviation away. I must keep k equal to 2. Anyway, we will try to understand the meaning of this one. First, mod of x minus mu is greater than or equal to k sigma. Is greater than or equal to k sigma. This can be written as x minus mu is greater than or equal to k sigma, and how can I write? Your x minus mu is less than or equal to k sigma. What does it mean? This can be written as x is greater than or equal to mu plus k sigma. Can I write like this? And x is less than or equal to this one. What is this? X is greater than, x is how can I write? I can write it as x is greater than or equal to mu plus k sigma, and x is less than or equal to mu minus k sigma. Can I write like this? It is simple mathematics. Therefore, I can write it as, how can I write? P of x is greater than or equal to mu plus k sigma, and I can write x is less than or equal to mu minus k sigma is less than or equal to 1 by k square. Isn't it? I can rewrite it as P of mu minus k sigma is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to mu plus k sigma is less than or equal to 1 by k square. Isn't it? It's simple thing. Now, it is saying, given random variable capital X for which we know the mean and standard deviation, mean mu and standard deviation is not equal 0, finite and not equal 0, probability of capital X lies between k standard deviation away from the mean. This mu minus k sigma and mu plus k sigma. What does it mean? This is k standard deviations away from the mean mu is is less than or equal to 1 by k square. This I can write, just if you observe carefully, let me assume this is, of course, for understanding I am drawing this normal distribution curve. If you speak strictly, it need not follow normal distribution. Just for understanding, I am keeping like this. If I assume this is mu, this is mu minus k sigma, this is mu plus k sigma. Just for understanding I am writing, it need not a normal distribution. What does it mean? X is greater than or equal to, what it says, x is less than or equal to mu plus k sigma. Actually, how can I write? Here I must write this one. Just a minute. Let me erase this one actually. Yes. Sorry. Yes, let me say like this. Yes. 1 minute. Yes. This is x is greater than or equal to, it's less than or equal to 1 by k square. What does it mean? X is greater than or equal to mu plus k sigma. Greater than or equal to means this portion, isn't it? X is less than or equal to, here, sorry, I did a mistake here. X is less than or equal to mu minus k sigma means this portion. Yes, this portion means probability of x is greater than or equal to mu plus k sigma, and probability of x is less than or equal to mu minus k sigma is less than or equal to 1 by k square. This can be written as, now this can be written as probability of, what is the opposite of this one? Can I say like this? Mu minus k sigma is less than or equal to x. I must say not equal to, anyway equality is allowed here. Let me say like this. Yes. Now how can I write? Just see. Now this opposite of this one, mu minus k sigma less than x less than mu plus k sigma, is instead of less than or equal to, I can write it's greater than 1 minus 1 by k square. What does it mean? Your capital X is a random variable. This portion, opposite, sum of happening plus not happening equal to 1, isn't it? Therefore, according to that rule, I can, this is another form. This I am rewriting, isn't it? If it is less than or equal to, I can write greater than opposite. If it is less than of mu, if it is greater than of mu plus k sigma and less than of mu minus k sigma, I can write in between mu minus k sigma. This is in between mu minus k sigma and mu plus k sigma means this portion. This portion. This is 1 minus 1 by k square. This portion is 1 by k square. Sum of all probabilities equal to 1, isn't it? Therefore, I am rewriting. This can be rewritten. This one can be rewritten like this. This is more comfortable manner of writing. This just understand. This form is more suitable for solving problems, isn't it? This I can say. This is mu minus k sigma, mu plus k sigma means this one I can say k sigma range. Can I say like this? K sigma range around the mean, and this probability is greater than 1 minus 1 by k square. Let's see why this is useful. Let's go back to our question. So here let's assume x is a random variable. Let's go to our salaries example. What is that? Mu is what is that? Mu equal to salaries example. Our mu is $40,000 and sigma is, what is our sigma? Sigma is $10,000, isn't it? Let me say it's $10,000. My question number 1 was what percentage of people's salaries lies between $20,000 and $60,000? That is question number 1, isn't it? $20,000 and $60,000. What does it mean? How will I get? Just here I must substitute. What is my mu value here? P of my mu is 40 minus k, 2 sigma distance. 2 into sigma means 2 into 10, 20. 40 minus 20 is less than x less than mu plus 2 sigma means 40 plus 20. I will get in the range of, in the interval of what is this? I can say it's open interval, of course, is greater than. What is my k value? In the place of k, I am writing 2. Therefore, is greater than, what can I write? Is greater than 1 minus 1 by k square. My k is 2. 2 square means 4. 1 minus 1 by 4, isn't it? What is this 1 minus 1 by 4 means? I can write it as it is 1 minus 1 by 4 means it's equivalent to 3 by 4. I can write like this. Just let me rewrite. Otherwise, just see our otherwise let me rewrite Chebyshev's inequality again. P of x minus sorry, let me write like this. Yes, P of mu minus k sigma is less than x less than mu plus k sigma is greater than 1 minus 1 by k square. Just recall that question. Which question do we need? What is our basic question? My question is, what percentage of people's salaries in between $20,000 and $60,000? This is my question number 1. Here I don't know the distribution, but given mu equal to $40,000, this is given in question. Mu equal to $40,000 and sigma is $10,000. Here k, it is 2 sigma distance from the mean. Therefore, let me substitute k equal to 2. What happens? P of mu means 40 minus k means 2, sigma means 10, less than capital X, less than mu plus mu means 40 plus k means 2, sigma means 10. Therefore, what will you get? 1 minus 1 by 2 square means 4. This is essentially 40 minus 20. That is, I can say 20 less than x less than 40 plus 20. That is 60 is greater than 1 minus 1 by 4 means what? What is this? This is 3 by 4. That is probability that capital X lies in between 20 and 60 is 3 by 4. That is 3 by 4 into 100 means I can say it is 0.75. What does it mean? At least, can I say like this? At least 75%. At least 75% of people's salary, at least 75% of people's salaries is in between $20,000 and 60,000. Let me keep open interval. Why? Because equality is not allowed, isn't it? That is interpretation. But if you know, if salaries are Gaussian distributed, it could have, it is, what is that rule? 68, 95, 99.7. That's the empirical rule. This is 2 sigma distance. Therefore, if it is Gaussian distribution, it could have the 95% of the salaries is in between $20,000 and $60,000. Here, as we don't know, the distribution is normal distribution. At least 75% people's salary is in between $60,000 and $20,000 and $60,000. Similarly, for 3 sigma deviation, what is my 3 sigma deviation? Just if you keep 3 sigma deviation, what will you get? What is this? In that case, 3 sigma means what? Probability of mu minus mu means what? 40. Yes, minus 3. I am taking k equal to 3. 3 sigma means what? 3 into 10. 3 into 10 means what? 30 is less than x less than 40 plus 30. This is 3 sigma. Mu equal 40, we know that. And sigma is 10, we know that. I am taking k equal 3. 3 sigma deviation. Therefore, what will I get? Greater than 1 minus 1 by 3 square. 3 square means 9. I can write probability in between 40 minus 30 means what? 10 is less than capital X is less than 70. Means I can say 1 minus 1 by 9 means I can say it is 8 by 9, which is equal to 88%. I can say 80, at least 88% of people's salaries is in between $10,000 and $70,000. If it is $70,000, if it is Gaussian distribution, as it is 3 sigma distance according to empirical rule, if it is Gaussian distribution, 99.7% people's salaries is in the range of $10,000 and $70,000. This I can say anybody can understand real application of Chebyshev's inequality. Here we don't know that given data is following, whether it is following normal distribution or not. Even though if it is not following normal distribution, by applying Chebyshev inequality, you can say the distribution of the data. This Chebyshev inequality I will use in my future data science classes. Thank you very much. Just go through this lecture. This is a conceptual lecture. If you have any difficulty, just keep a comment. Thank you very much.